Hello, and thank you for listening to the pod of Born Star, Born Star, Born Star, where you recognize you're a star. It's another beautiful day in October. It is a Tuesday, and we are going to have a great day wherever we are, whatever time it is. I hope you're having a good Tuesday. I know I am. I can't wait for it to be over. I mean, it just feels like every day is never ending. Especially when you work all day and then you get off and all you want to do is go to sleep. Working can be so tiring. And I don't think we realize how tired we are till you are actually trying to do something and you can barely keep your eyes open. That's how you know you're tired. When people want to do things and you're like, dude, I just want to lay in my bed all day. That's all I want to do. It's rough. It's almost Tuesday, but that's one more day closer to Friday. So let's just look at it that way. Let's get into the conversation of no media allowed, no media allowed, no media allowed, because they lie to us anyway. Now, my mom told me it's not a good idea for me to add no media allowed into the podcast because I should only be talking about positive things. Now, I love my mom. I know she has good advice. She's great and everything. But the reason I talk about politics and I add that in every day to the podcast is because I don't know if you're getting the actual news and what's actually going on from news. That might not be the case. And I'm concerned that that's not the case. I do think we have to hold all of these people responsible for keeping their word. And I'm not going to lie and say Biden's great. I'm not going to lie and say that Republicans are great. I'm not going to lie and say that maybe they should think about things before they do it. And maybe they should figure out a way to keep promises instead of breaking them all the time. As someone that works very hard for her yearly salary and doesn't want to live paycheck to paycheck and struggle, it's important for us to talk about no media allowed. It's called no media allowed because the media is full of junk. They only want to talk about things that make themselves look good because they're constantly making money. And it's annoying. Who else is irritated by that? I know I'm not the only one that's irritated by that. But anyways, the conversation. Now, I listened to Pod Save America and a bunch of other TYT messages last week, and listened to looked at some articles or whatever about what's going on with this Build Back Better and everything that's happening. I feel like we should be really concerned about climate because they're basically just scraping everything that has to do with climate from whatever gets passed because they want to make Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin happy. Isn't it sad that we have to keep talking about Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, who are supposed to be more so willing to talk to Republicans and other Democrats in office? I am very happy that we're not doing a $3.5 trillion thing that's going to be giving people ridiculous amounts of money that sounds ridiculous. If this is going to be about infrastructure, then it needs to be about infrastructure. There's people outside with signs acting like they can't be employed because they're homeless, but everyone is hiring. So there's confusion in that too. And I don't want the whole sympathy thing because no one has sympathy for me if I become unemployed and I have to find a new job. No one cares. No one's handing out anything and giving anyone 5 million chances to figure out their life. That's not reality. That's like a dream or a movie. That's a false, fake fantasy. Okay? Reality is you have to figure out a way to survive. Maybe that is paycheck to paycheck. If it's in the United States and you don't make, $100,000 to $150,000 a year, it is paycheck to paycheck, especially if you have a mortgage, you have a car, you have to buy groceries, you constantly have to restock things for your house or your apartment or whatever. You are living that way. You're constantly paying out. It's nearly impossible for people to save. And once they could start saving, then they had the audacity to say the IRS was going to be looking into people's funds that had $600 in their bank accounts. They quickly changed it. But the nerve of them to even say that. I think we should be questioning politicians. What are you putting in the legislation you're writing up? How is this actually going to affect me? We need to hold them accountable. And the reason why I talk about politics and what's going on and where we are and where we stand, and the fact that we're not getting stimulus check, and they're doing all this crap, and they overcharge us for medical, and it's just a whole bunch of junk every day. But they still have mansions, they can have nice cars, they get all this money, they continue to get funded, they got stupid people on the ground running around convincing people to vote for Democrats. I'm tired of that too. Why are you trying to convince us to vote for Democrats, and Democrats don't do anything for the people they're supposed to represent? Obama, what did he do for me when he was elected into office? I can't tell you. Nothing. Trump, at least I didn't have to deal with inflation issues with Trump. Yeah, he's kind of annoying, not gonna lie, but like seriously, Kay, outside of the fact that he has to be the star of the show and everything's about Trump, yeah, he's sort of on the iffy side, but he's an actor. So like I said yesterday, I mean, how can we be mad at him? Like, the thing that the Democrats need to be concerned about is the Republicans are able to convince people that are not Democratic, that are independent, that don't have a side, you should vote for me instead, because look at all the stuff they don't do. And they're going to have a lot of examples because they're not going to do a lot of things. Where's the student loan forgiveness for people that need student loan forgiveness? Why isn't there a more blanketed effect of that? I talk about that every day. Where's my student loan forgiveness? I haven't gotten that email from Miguel yet. I'm waiting for it. Any day now, he's going to send me that email to forgive my student loans, or I'm going to have to email somebody so I can get my student loans forgiven. Now, this is going to have to be something I'm going to have to fight for, likely. And at the end of this, hopefully I can win and my student loans can be forgiven so I can try to live my American life. Let's hope that happens. But in other countries, they figured out a way for their citizens to live stress-free. And they can't do that here. What are you waiting for? Who knows? In a capitalistic society, I mean, you can work as many jobs as you want, then they can charge you ridiculous federal taxes that never goes to fix anything. And these Democrats are as bad as Republicans. So on these, like, liberal networks where they like to praise Biden and they like to suck their feet, it's like, have you seen the price of milk right now? Why are we so happy about Biden, dude? What are we talking about, man? Like, what? What are we talking about? There's my irritation with everything. That. Nothing's happening. They're going back on their promises. They're still putting in money into, like free preschool and a bunch of crap that doesn't make any sense. If you're going to get rid of free education for 2 years, then I'm sorry, we need to do a year of the tax credit, not 2 years, a year. Why don't we knock that down more? Why do these people deserve 3 years of a tax credit? Are you kidding me? Like, if you have a child, you should be able to handle them responsibly. You should know how to budget, and you should know how to live with that. You're enduring a debt. A child, you're going to have to pay for things for the child. Food, clothes. If they're going to school, you have to have equipment for them to go to school. A lot goes into having a child. And people don't think about that when they're having them. They're just like, oh, I'm so excited. If you can't afford a child, it's unfair to the child and yourself. You're putting yourself in a position where you're going to have to make very difficult decisions. And it's not going to be fun. But that's what's going on right now. They're tinkering and toying. And honestly, I feel like in 2024, they need to get rid of Manchin and they need to get rid of Sinema. Like, who wants to hear Manchin say he's going to go independent? Dude, no one is going to vote for you. So go independent so you can lose for real. Like, they need to remove him for office. I bet you there are ways to remove him and Sinema from office because they're not doing anything. They need to use all the power that they have right now to fix this stuff, because when they lose the power, they're not going to be able to fix anything, and the Republicans are going to change everything all over again, and it's going to be a lot of work. So they need to be prepared for what's coming. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. And they're in denial. Biden's ratings right now are at like 30%. They're done. They are done. I mean, every day it gets worse. Like, the shipping issue with things coming in, it took me 2 weeks to find gummy bears, dude. 2 weeks. And I found them at Stop and Shop. There was only one bag left. One bag. That means I have to figure out a way to make the gummy bears I found last longer, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get them again. Anyways, these people have a tendency of thinking that they're going to be able to continue the nonsense and that people are just going to okay it. But that's not what's going to happen here. They're going to lose everything, and then they're going to run when it's come time for them for 22 for re-election, and they're going to claim they did stuff better than Trump. When Trump was in office, I wasn't almost spending $4 for gas. When Trump was in office, my milk wasn't almost $5. And people bring up a great point. The only reason they didn't like Trump because he didn't say nice things. You know, I don't really care. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. I don't really care about either side, honestly, because they keep showing who they are. But when Trump was a president, granted, many of the decisions he made were very questionable. Granted, I'm not sure how much of the presidency he actually took part in. But I bet you we didn't have issues with China the way we have issues with China with Biden. I bet you we weren't part of this health organization that's making us give all this crap to other countries. Like, it's not the United States of America's job to fix the entire world. And that's not fair because other people don't do that. And they're not held to the same, standards. So United States needs to take up for themselves, be a big boy, put your big kid pants on, and say, you know what? No, we're not doing this. You know what? No, we're not doing that. That's what we need to do. Why are our army people, our men and our women that are in the army, are in reserve, are in the Navy, are in the Air Force, sacrificing their lives to save people that don't deserve it? Why are we making allies in foreign countries for shit that we don't need? Why do we continuously do this over and over and over and over again? What? So people that like to be at war can have guns and sell them off to another person in Syria and Lyria and Beria and blah, 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 blah. There's so much going on here that no one ever talks about. And there's a lot of issues. And they don't have any issue passing a budget for war, for the Pentagon. They don't even think about that. Think about that for a moment. When it comes to their citizens that live in the country, it takes them all this time to figure stuff out. When it comes to a war, a budget for a war or to fight or for weapons or anything like that, they all agree. And I'm talking about Bernie Sanders, I'm talking about AOC, Pramila Jayapal, I'm talking about Mitch McConnell, I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and all the other Republicans that are out of their minds, whatever. They agree on that. Ted Cruz and many others. They agree on that. But they can't agree on a budget deal that helps Americans in America. Why are we giving money to people in other countries to help them succeed in their country, and you can't help the people that live in your country succeed? Do you know how backward that is? There's so many issues here. It would take forever to fix them. I don't even know if they can be fixed, honestly. And I don't want this to be a hopeless podcast where you feel like, oh my God, I can't breathe. How are we going to do this? I don't want it to feel like that. I want this to be a positive place where you see your beauty, your positivity, and you recognize what you can do and what you can accomplish. But the United States of America is a joke. And if you live in the United States of America, every day you should be looking at what they talk about. Nothing. We should be concerned about climate. Where's this going to lead to? If things aren't being fixed, our children aren't going to have a future. Our children are probably not going to exist. It's going to be like one of those sci-fi movies where the world just begins to end and no one can fix it. That is coming. The end of the world is coming. And you know how it could be fixed? If people weren't so stupid and didn't want to just deny reality. I guess we'll have to wait and see, just like we have to wait and see everything else. If you live in any other country, I'm hoping that they don't act as ridiculous as they do here. And I'm just hoping that they put their thinking caps on and they get to this before it's too late to get to it. I don't know what their plan is. They keep saying that they have a plan and they think things are going to come through and they're going to be able to add this in another budget, or they're going to be able to put this in another place, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen. When is it going to happen? These are questions we should be asking. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, moving on. The first part of our conversation today is sometimes anxiety is just an ordinary feeling. Like, I get anxious sometimes, especially when it comes to me learning something new or being in a new setting, especially if you're starting a new job, or you're meeting new people. It's okay to be anxious. After a while, you begin to learn things and it becomes ordinary, and it takes a little time for you to be able to get things and be able to understand things differently. I think that society everywhere, worldwide, has this idea that you're supposed to just be perfect at things. Has this idea that you're supposed to just look this way, look that way, be this or be that. That's kind of what it feels like. But that's not realistic. So people have a lot of issues, like with themselves. Like, they can't look in the mirror. They don't have any self-esteem. They're anxious all the time. They're going to psychologists that are telling them they need to take medication. They're experiencing all these difficulties for no reason because they don't have anyone to tell them it's okay. They don't have like a system or a group of people telling them it's all right. They don't have that. Isn't that sad? Like, isn't that sad? I mean, I think it's sad. Like, we need to promote self-esteem, love, and belief in ourselves. We need to tell each other, yeah, you did a great job. Yeah, you're cool. Yeah, I'm so proud of you. I can't believe you did that. Wow, that's so creative. Can you show me how to do that? We need to be learning from each other, promoting each other, pushing each other to succeed, regardless of who we are, where we came from, what our skin color is, who our parents were, our grandparents, or great, whatever. We need to be promoting ourselves. We need to be loving each other, treating each other with compassion and dignity and respect. And if we can do that, whether it be at our jobs or with our family members or with our friends, and we can just make it a little easier to breathe and just live, maybe we can start to make a difference where we don't think we have to be like a robot to fit in, because it's not realistic. It's an illusion of reality that you have to look like Kim Kardashian and you constantly have to have cameras follow you around for you to be able to be normal. Who knows what's going on with Kim Kardashian? It was a great show. Who knows what's going on with whatever they're dealing with? Who knows? Anyways, next part of our conversation. What is popularity? I think popularity is when someone has other people hype them up. Maybe not even hype them up, but popularity is when people recognize others because they get to walk around and they get to be like the it person. But what does popularity mean in corporate America or a job environment? Nothing. Because if you're not doing your job right, you're not popular, and at some point your manager or someone that's in charge is going to be able to recognize you're not doing something right, and you're going to be toast and replaced. So when it comes to like having an ability to learn something, I don't know if popularity mixes in with that. Granted, there's a lot of popularity when it comes to like school, middle school, high school, maybe even college, but not really college, because everybody is in a different, like in college it's different. Like in college, you know, you have your network of friends, and you know, some people that maybe are in a higher grade are popular, or they hang out together. It's really not about popularity. There really isn't popularity in college. Like, you're paying for it. You're on a campus. You're walking around. You're in class. You're learning. You're writing papers. You're creating things. It's different. Like, maybe some people are popular, like on the sports teams or whatever, but it's a different kind of a popularity. They're popular because they won a football game, or they're popular because they're good at basketball. That's not the same kind of popularity from like high school. Like, popularity doesn't fit into like a job, unless maybe you're working with fashion. Maybe you're popular because you're a designer. Maybe that works with that kind of things. But I think popularity in like a normal corporate job, I don't know if that exists there. I don't know if that can exist there. I think as adults, younger or older, You have to be able to recognize that popularity is a thing. It's a joke. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's okay to be a nerd. I like being called a nerd. I like reading comic books, dude. I like watching, like, Star Wars and getting into Marvel or DC Comics. I like all that nerdy stuff. I like playing video games. I like going to video game stores. I like talking about records and things from like 40 years ago. I mean, I don't have a record player. I don't know anyone that does, but I still think it's cool, you know, like there's really old video games that I wish I could get my hand on and play. I love watching old movies from like the 70s or the 80s, basically to make fun of them because the acting is horrible, but still, like, I don't think any of that is popular. I think that's all like on a different level, but I'm not looking for anyone to say you're cool. I don't think you can constantly look for that. I don't think that's real. I think it's fake. And if you're constantly looking for someone to approve you or tell you something's cool, then you just want to live in a fake reality. Some people don't want to deal with that. And people that always need attention, always need to be the center of attention, and always need someone to recognize who they are, they're really annoying. Like, once you start to hail them, they're like, look at me, look what I can do. And it's like someone's having a conversation with someone else and they have to dip into it. That's irritating. Just saying. But that's only half of it. So, popularity. Is it important nowadays? No. Should you be concerned about it? No. Do you really want to be popular? What does popular mean? Like, there's shows on TV. Like, didn't they do something called Glee like forever years ago? I never watched it, but I don't know. Maybe you could watch that on Disney Plus or something. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm not feeling it. I hope you're not feeling it either. Just be who you are and love yourself. Look in the mirror and tell yourself how great you are. We don't need to be popular. Who cares? Like, in reality, no one cares. If we're talking about Instagram, some people are going to like it. If you're a brand ambassador, you're likely going to get more likes, more follows, more things than if you're not. Just saying, just saying. So that's different from just being an ordinary person on Instagram or on any social media platform. Who knows? Next conversation. Are school dances comparable to the club? No. School dances, you have like a monitor or an adult out in the setting and you really can't do a lot. Maybe if you go to an after party after a school club, maybe. Like, I don't know. Granted, when I went to school dances, I thought the school dances were cool. But as I grew up, I realized they were lame as can be. And I don't know. It was fun in that setting, in that time frame. But as you grow up, it like house parties and things, sometimes it's cool. But now there's COVID and like, who wants to be at a house party? It's all hot. And like a club, like, they overcharge for drinks. It's like, it's not as fun as you would think it is. Like, after you go to a club, like, after a while, it's not fun anymore. It's like obnoxious. Like, I could buy a bottle and probably be better off at home than being around all these annoying people that want to hit on you or whatever. That's what a club environment is. You get sweaty people. It's hot. Everything, it kind of feels sort of claustrophobic. Like, do you really want to endure that? I don't know. Like, and then sometimes they make you pay to get in the clubs. Granted, I don't pay to get in clubs because I'm pretty and I just walk right in. But for other people, they might have to do that. And I know I sounded really overconfident just now. But I'm just saying. For those that have to pay money to get into the club, I bet it sucks, doesn't it? You got to pay money to get into the club. Then you got to pay money to drink the drinks. See, I don't pay for none of that. Granted, I do bring money with it. I remember one time, I can't even remember the name of it. I went somewhere with my friends and they tried to tell us the shots was $10.50 and I was like, yo, we are about to leave because no. For $10.50 you can buy, like, and I'm not trying to talk about alcohol like it's a great thing, but I don't know if clubs are cool. Like, dances are sweet because it's like, it's with younger kids and they're dancing and it's a way for you to be around people your own age and have a little fun and act crazy and, you know, do things that you do, especially like if you live in a town, you get to have fun with your friends. In a club, it's not the same thing. It's probably more people or maybe it's less people. There's no one monitoring it and it can be irritating. Like, and then liquor is involved in it. And, like, that can get sketchy. So, honestly, dances are probably better, but it's definitely different than the club. And I hate when they try to put dance party on the things to make it seem like it's about dancing. It's not. Next part of the conversation. Some friends are pretending. You ever notice that when you're around some of your friends, you're talking to them and they have no idea what you're talking about? They're pretending. They're probably not listening to you. I don't know. Like, I feel like you need to put your binocular eyes on and just be fully aware of people that are in your corner or people that are fully against you and are just trying to manipulate you or deter the situation. Now, I'm the first person to tell you I don't know if friendships last forever. I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I can tell you that you have to be brave. You have to face things. You have to ask people questions, and you have to be willing to accept reality. You can't be in denial wanting to hold on to a friendship that's not really a friendship. If you're calling someone and they're not responding to you and they just drop you for dead and leave you for dead, I don't know if they're your friends. Like, I don't think they are. Because real friends don't do that. Real friends are like family members. Like, their parents are your parents and your parents are theirs. That's what real friends are. So, anything outside of that is strange. Just saying. Next part of the conversation. Good shows are right there. You just have to find the remote and turn them on. There's shows on demand if you've got Xfinity. There's shows on Netflix. There's shows on Hulu. There's shows on Disney Plus. There's shows on HBO Max. There's shows for all this stuff. You just have to look for it. And it's so enjoyable. Like, I don't know. Like, we have cable, but I'm really, like, thinking, like, maybe we should, like, try to figure out how to get rid of it. Like, I don't know if we want to get rid of it because we really do watch it. But do we watch all the channels? No. Do we need everything they have? Likely not. Would it probably be better to, like, really budget and look at it and go through it step by step to see what money we could save? Yes. But there's things everywhere. Like, right now I'm watching Sex Education on Netflix, and we started watching You. So between Sex Education and You, I'm kind of busy watching those two things. I also need to finish Lucifer. And who knows whenever I'm going to finish that. I keep saying I need to finish it, and then I never end up watching it. But I'm really going to try to watch it, so we'll see where I end up on that. Next part of the conversation. Who doesn't like relatable watching? Don't you like watching things where you can relate to the characters, you can relate to the setting, you can relate to, like, what they're experiencing? It makes watching it fun. I think that's why I like things that are, the settings take place in, like, a town where the kids are either in high school or going to college, because it's very relatable to me, because, like, not that long ago, I was in college, and not that long ago, I was in a small town, and I live in a town, and although I'm, working or whatever, I still kind of have that small town vibe. Like, the town that I reside in, I'm there all the time, and being able to watch that and watch the characters grow and watch them step away from, like, where they are into something different, I like that. That's why I like things that are, like, teen-centric or supernatural or anything like that. Plus, I like comic books. I like DC. I like all of these things. So that's the reason I think relatable is important. And if you like scary, then the relatable with the scary is the horror aspect. Do you like slasher? Do you like psychological scary? Like, what kind of scary do you like? There's a lot of scary. You just have to figure out what scary you like more. Watching relatable really gets you involved and really makes you want to watch more of it till you finish it. So I think, really take your time, go through the catalog that you have available, and find something that meets the needs that you want to look at. I bet you'll find something really great. I guarantee you. Next part of our conversation. Are there any good movies on Apple Plus? Nope. I don't know. Like, I looked on there and like they have some things available, but I don't know if they're that good. Like their collection of movies is like subpar. Like I feel like Apple could do so much more with Apple Plus than they do with it, and it's kind of frustrating that they spend so much money investing it into iPhones when, as a user of Apple Plus, I'm looking for them to provide something better. And they're not doing that. And I wish they would, because it's like, what do you have here besides like 5 shows? Like, where's the rest of everything? It's not there. I don't know. Next part of our conversation. What is the difference between soup and stews? Didn't we talk about this before? I feel like we did. Now, I feel like stews are thicker than soups. Soups are lighter. And I also feel like you can do both in a crock pot. You're going to have to find recipes, check out Pinterest and YouTube, and you're going to have to take your time or look at a recipe book. They're out there. They're in Target. They're in Walmart. They're on Amazon. And figure out what you want to do with it. We've talked about this before. I kind of like stews and soup. I can't pick one. Soups are good, especially as it gets colder. So see what you like more and try it. Definitely say that. Next part of the conversation. There's something about baking chicken in the oven. I feel like there's something good about baking chicken in the oven because you can basically put anything on it. Peppers, onions, you can put a little bit of sauce in it. You can have it bake, and then I feel like all the flavors in the chicken, it becomes something different. You could put cheese on it. You can basically put whatever you want on it, and it has a different taste to it. We've talked about baking pastas and how baking pastas is different. Well, baking chicken in the oven versus frying it or cooking it on like a pan, it's got a different taste and texture to it. And I think you can taste it. Like, it tastes better. Like grilled chicken, I don't know, there's something about grilled chicken. Baked chicken is kind of the same thing. Like, you put it in there, you may put it on broil, leave it in there for like 30 minutes, put like maybe some seasonings on there, maybe put some carrots or some onions or some other vegetables around it, and you just made yourself like, either you could do a sheet pan or you could just put it in one of the pans in the oven. It's really good. Like, really, it is absolutely delicious. And I don't think we talk enough about baking chicken. Baking any sort of meat or even tofu or anything vegan. Baking is really good. So I guess I'm saying try it and love it. Next part of our conversation. What does hens taste like? Although, maybe not hens, but what do crocodiles taste like? And I know you're thinking, what are you talking about? I was watching something on HGTV, and they chopped up the crocodile and they made like a bake with it or something. It was very strange, but they did it and it looked okay. I don't really want to know what crocodile tastes like, but I guess if you're in the setting and you want to see what crocodile tastes like, I guess you might like it. I don't know. For me, that was a lot. It was one of those like Western shows where they were like, I've cooked croc before, you gotta debone it or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't know if this would be good. And they were talking about like fish with it too. Like, fish is one thing, but like a crocodile, like, I don't know about that. Like, pass. That's one of those things where I don't know if I want to do that. HGTV has a lot of crazy shows in it, especially with that new app that they have where you can watch all the shows that they made, but I don't feel like that's something I want to venture into. Like, I don't know. I'm going to say pass on that. But I can tell you meats that do taste good. Venison, deer is probably good. I heard that tastes like chicken. I heard rabbits taste like chicken. I don't want to eat a rabbit. I think they're cute. I'm going to pass on eating cute animals. I don't think I want to try a crocodile. I definitely think I want to stay away from a lot of things. Like, I don't see myself eating spiders or roaches or any of that. I'm going to put the crocodiles with the roaches and the spiders eating idea. And we're just going to not eat that. And I'm just going to advise you don't eat that either ways. I just thought it'd be a fun part of the conversation just because I saw that on HGTV. And I wanted to see if you guys would eat crocodiles too. I'm going to say no. But if you want to try it, by all means, see if you like it. Anyways, that is the end of our pod today. Thank you for tuning in as always to Born Star, Born Star, Born Star. Where you recognize you're a star. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.